The biggest topic of all so far is the captaincy issue around Joe Root. So there were already question marks, I think, during and then after the Ashes series, and obviously it wasn't his head that got rolled, but it was Chris Silverwood. First of all, what's your thoughts on it, I guess? And then also, as a second question, what do you think will happen? Atherton, Vaughan, and Hussain, so obviously former ex-England captains, have all come out and said that they think it's time for him to step down. I think with the bat, we know how good he is, but this is purely based on his captaincy. I don't think him having the captaincy or not having the captaincy is going to affect his batting. I think we've seen that, over a number of years. So what's your thoughts on whether he should take it? Or sorry, whether he should be kept as captain, or he wants to stay as captain. He's already openly said that. And then two, what do you think will happen? And if he does get relieved, who do you think will take it?
Well, it's the £1 million question, isn't it, Faizan? To be honest, when it comes to this series, and just to preface it, I would like to say that I do feel bad for Joe Root, because I don't think he's a terrible captain. I don't think he's the worst England captain of all time by any stretch of the imagination, but he's just leading one of the worst England sides in recent memory. And the fact is, you could put Kane Williamson in here. You could put in the world's best test captains, and they might struggle to get England to the upper echelons where the fans expect them to be. In terms of Root's captaincy, though, the one thing which I've always had a major issue with is his approach to spin bowling. And I mentioned this series after series after series, and yet again in this series, nothing's changing. Nothing's changing. I don't know if that's down to coaching. I don't know if there's something tactically going on there. But for some reason, he doesn't trust his spinners. He didn't trust Don Bess, and I still don't think he fully trusts Jack Leach. Because if you look at the field placements, which Tom Abel, for example, Somerset's captain, sets to Jack Leach, he's so aggressive. He'll put in a silly point or a silly mid on, a silly mid off, a leg slip. He'll encourage Leach to really go stump to stump and take wickets. And yet for England, we saw it in the Ashes, men on the boundary. It doesn't encourage a spin bowler. That's a really, really important facet for any spinner, is the relationship with your captain. And if your captain doesn't fully back you, you're never going to succeed to the extent with which you possibly could under a captain who does back you. So in that regard, that's my real Achilles heel. I think that's the real crux of Root's captaincy, is his approach to spin bowling. In terms of seam rotations, again, I don't think he's terrible in that regard. I do think at times he has got it wrong, but every captain is culpable of that from time to time. And with the bat in hand, he's been outstanding. So he has led from the front when it comes to that skill and that art form. I think in terms of the immediate future, I'm not sure how long he can keep it up, because as much as I am sympathetic, and as much as I've just mentioned there, he does have some very good attributes and very good qualities, and he's a lovely person. But one test win in 17 matches, and yes, you can look at the opposition and realise it's Australia, New Zealand, India, teams which are far better off than England in Test cricket right now. It's an unwanted record. And in fact, I think in terms of the last 30 or 40 years, he has got one of the, if not the lowest win percentages of any England Test captain. So it's a massive decision. It's a massive decision. I don't think England can make the decision just yet, to be honest. I feel like we'll have to wait until the new coach comes in. But as soon as we get that new coach, as soon as you have some clarity regarding that coaching situation, I feel like that'll be the moment where that decision is made. I feel like for the time being, they might actually keep Roots purely for the lack of options in the captaincy department. Yes, you've got Ben Stokes available, but I feel like with Stokes, he is his own worst enemy. You know, we saw this in this series. He overbowled himself. Can you imagine him as the captain? He might injure himself down the line because he loves playing for England that much, and he wants to give absolutely every single sinew of his being towards the role. But I'm not sure if he's captaincy material just yet. And then in the rest of the squad, where are the other leaders? England don't have an experienced middle-order batting option who's really stepping up to the plate. Bairstow isn't a captain. He's a great player, and I love the fact that Bairstow is finding this test form again, but he's not a captain. The bowlers, again, not really captain material. They don't captain for their county sides. So that's why, for the time being, as much as we may complain as England fans, I feel like Root probably will stay as the captain for the immediate future. But if we are thinking later down the line with the new coach, I don't think it'd be a bad option to bring in a county captain. A Tom Abel, for example. There's been a lot of talk about James Vince, whether or not we'll see that. That's another question. Will Rhodes from Warwickshire? There's options out there. England just aren't taking them. And that's why, for the time being, I feel like Root will probably be captain for the India Test match in the New Zealand series. Once we get that new coach, anything can happen. Because if he does lose that series, I feel like that could be it in front of his home crowd.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I think, as you said, there's not many leaders in the actual team at the moment. So the issue is they're going to have to bring in someone, I guess, similar to what West Indies did with Craig Brathwaite, which is Craig Brathwaite wasn't particularly experienced, if I'm not mistaken, in the Test arena, but they trusted him with the captaincy, and then they almost had to trust him to continue batting well, or say, actually, you're winning the captaincy and hope that your form in international cricket is going to be good enough for a long period of time, and it has been. I feel like that's what they're going to have to potentially do with, as you said, one of the county captains, and they're going to have to mull it over. It'll probably take some time, but it's inevitable, I think, isn't it? So let's see what happens, whether he gets relieved of his duties now or later. But I think it's inevitable, isn't it? In the next, probably year, I would imagine, maximum, if that. But we'll see. Aaron, thanks very much for being on. Do appreciate it as always. Guys, do check out the County Cricketer on Twitter and also Instagram, and of course they've also got their own YouTube channel as well. Well, Aaron's on there as Cricket Connoisseur, and also the County Cricketer's on there as well. So yeah, do check them out, and I'm looking forward to Question of Cricket. I'm sure that will be starting again soon as well.
Will indeed.
And, hopefully I'll be on there and do a bit better than last time. But yeah, thanks very much, Aaron. Appreciate it as always.
My pleasure, mate. As always happy to come on, and of course, for everyone out there watching, like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. Help Faizan out over the course of this season.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Stay safe and well, guys, and see you on the next video. Thank you very much.